Hi Year 11, just wanted to give you a recap of your Edexcel Literature Paper 1 that you will be sitting in your mock examinations when you come back. So the paper is split into two. Section A, Shakespeare. Section B is An Inspector Calls, your post-1914 literature. Both questions were 40 marks altogether. Romeo and Juliet is split into two, and An Inspector Calls is just one big essay question. You'll have an hour and 45 minutes in total. So, what will your Shakespeare question look like? It will look something like this. You'll be given some lines. Well, you'll be given an extract from the play. It will give you a little bit of information of where it's from, and you'll need to read through this, and then you'll have two questions. Part A and a part B. You'll be given 55 minutes to answer this question, so you need to split your time in half between the two. The first bit, A, is to explore how Shakespeare presents Juliet's, in this instance, is to explore how Shakespeare presents Juliet's relationship with her mother in the extract and refer closely to the extract. So you've seen this question before. First thing you want to do is highlight it, figure out the focus of the question. And in this, I've got a box over here telling you to spend, just underneath where it says spend 25 minutes on this question, how to answer it. For part A, it's 20 marks for AO2. AO2 is down the bottom of the screen for you. It's all about analysis. This means you must analyse. So exploring why a particular word is there, why a particular noun is there, why an oxymoron is there, why the one person is talking more than the other, why iambic pentameter or rhyme and rhythm is used. You must analyse the language related to the focus and you must use a detailed what, how, why paragraph or PQA or whatever you're most comfortable with. You must use quotations, but only from the extract. You must comment on language, form and structure, and you must use subject terminology. I'm giving you a possible plan of action here. So in paragraph 1, 2 and 3, looking at the beginning, middle and end of the extract, this helps you with your structure. Use this when planning a response at home, when you're revising. Just pause on the screen. If you've lost your handbook, you can use this. Here's the mark scheme for you. It's in green because it's AO2, so it's all about analysis. So if you look at the top one, the top level, the language is a cohesive evaluation of interrelations with language, form and structure and their effect on the reader. This is why you use a what, how, why paragraph, because you're going to explore what is being presented in your opinion. That's part of your evaluation. What is being presented in your opinion related to the question via the language, form and structure relating to the quotes, pull those quotes apart and the effect on the reader. It doesn't explicitly say you need to use context, but the play was written in Elizabethan times, so the audience is going to react in a certain way due to the time. So do incorporate context into your answer if you can. And you need to use relevant subject terminology, of course. For part B of section A, this looks at the play on a wider scale. So your example here is looking at Juliet talking about revenge, taking revenge on Tybalt, and then exploring the importance of revenge elsewhere in the play. So you can't use the extract to answer this question. You've got to use your knowledge of the play. So how to answer this question? You've got 15 marks for AO1. AO1's down the bottom of the screen for you. It's all about reading and understanding and being able to respond to text, which you're all able to do. And 5 marks for AO3, and AO3 is always to do with context. So you do know your context, so it's linking that in. You must make sure to keep the answer relevant, to stick to the focus of the question. This is so important. If it's looking at revenge, make sure you're bringing in revenge in every single paragraph you are writing. Aim to write about 3 and make sure revenge is repeated throughout, and then you'll be sticking to the focus. You need to show an understanding of the whole play. So when you mention a point, tell me where it's from roughly. Is it beginning, middle, end of the play? If you can. You must maintain a critical style. So critical style is all about developing an argument or point of view. So if you've got an opinion about something, get it in there. If you think the characters are daft for showing revenge, then mention that. You also need to explore and develop your personal response. So this will come within your opinion as you're pushing your point of view through, but try not to write "in my opinion." And you need to use quotations if you can, but you can paraphrase, so you can get a grade 4 or 5 with paraphrasing. And paraphrasing is when you write about part of the play as your evidence, but you don't use a direct quote. And you must use relevant contextual evidence, and this must be integrated. So if you're talking about revenge, you might be bringing in toxic masculinity and the way this affects how some of the characters react, how Romeo reacts to Mercutio's death. But you want to integrate it seamlessly, not write about this paragraph and then put some context on the end for 3 lines. It won't flow and it won't give you as many marks. Here is your mark scheme. So you've got the blue points are all about your reading and understanding. So you just need to show that you understand what you've read. Your critical style, so develop an argument or point of view. And your perceptive understanding here is how you pull apart your quotations. I would advise you pull them apart with subject terminology for top marks. But if you're unable to do that, it's actually not explicitly stated, so don't worry. You want discerning references. So again, your quotations, relevant ones, and you need to have an understanding of the context, making sure it's relevant, like I was just talking about, linking toxic masculinity to the boys. Then you'll have the second part of the paper, which is on inspector calls for you, and you'll have 50 minutes to answer this question. So we've looked at this a lot in class. You're very able with this. You'll be given a question, you pick one or the other, do not answer both. You're given a quotation within the question as well. Make sure you're highlighting the question focus and sticking to that when you answer. So how to answer this question: you've got 16 marks for AO1, so that's how your understanding of the play, and 16 for AO3, so that's your context. But this context must make sense within the telling of the play, within your exploration of the play, not just squashed on. And this is the only question on the literature paper that has marks for AO4, which is for SPAG, which is for spelling, punctuation and grammar. So this is where you really want to show off your essay style and your vocabulary. You must make sure you keep your answer relevant. So this is very similar to part B in Romeo and Juliet, exactly the same skills. So you need to keep your answer relevant and stick to the focus of the question. So if the focus of the question is about experience, make sure you're using experience throughout your answer. You want to show an understanding of the whole play, so mention where quotations are from when you're exploring them. You must maintain a critical style, so this is about developing an argument or point of view. Develop your personal response, this will come with your critical style. Use quotations if you can. Again, you can get a 4 or 5 if you paraphrase, but if you can remember the quotations, it means you can pull them apart a little easier, show a bit of analysis skills, which will help really push your interpretation. Give relevant contextual evidence. So this is integrating all your knowledge about socialism and capitalism, or the class difference, or the world wars, or the women getting the right to vote, or the fact the play is shown to a 1945 audience, but it's actually set in 1912. If you can't remember that, make sure you're recapping it because it's really important for this question. And then you've got your SPAG marks. So you want to be thinking about showing off your essay style. So this is where an introduction would be wonderful if you can do that. 3 main paragraphs, 3 what, how, why paragraphs, really exploring your points, and a conclusion, and that should help you bump up your marks. Here is your mark scheme. It is very similar to Romeo and Juliet part B, so I'm not going to go into it in too much detail. But you've pretty much got your what, how, whys and integrating your context. And that is your whole paper. Except for this bit.